let's start this, and obviously with every presentation there are some new insights. And yeah, all right, I'm just gonna start. So, title of the presentation, oh come on, my pointer is not working. There we go. It's red, I don't know why. All right, anyway, so title of the presentation, I kid you not, is $1 trillion opportunity, because what you realize is, if you think about it, a few things, you're like, oh, wait a second, what? So, wait a second, what? This is what the presentation is about. opral, $1 trillion opportunity. That's what we're doing. All starts with brand new technology that will change quite a few things if it's released. One of the things that will change is cloud-based SaaS will die. We'll get to that in a second. Afterwards, then we're going to go to the market. So we have a new technology. There's a bold statement, cloud-based SaaS will die. How do we bring this technology to the market? And what about the future? If we bring the technology to the market, what's the outcast for the next 5 to 10 years? All right, so let's start with the technology. And the technology, you know, before I introduce it, have you ever thought about companies as like Git repositories? Yeah, what happens if you apply software engineering principles to an entire company? How much more efficient would the company become, and what new things would be possible? And if you go along the line of the thought experiment, one thing that becomes very clear from the beginning is that for everything that happens in my company, I get a change graph. I suddenly know exactly what happens in my company, I can trace it, I know why it happened, and I can roll back stuff. I get traceability, right? We have that in software engineering. Clear, I now have for my entire company. What is the outcome if I know of every change that happens in my company? Well, I suddenly get interop, because all the tools that people use, if they can collaborate on that change graph, you know, I get interop between tools. That's how kind of Git works. You have files and you can build on top of those files, and because it's files, it's much easier to do interop stuff. Okay, interesting, we get interop between things. Because we have interop, we get collaboration across the entire organization. In theory, I can collaborate with engineering team A and engineering team B. Doesn't matter which tools they use, we still have the same change graph that we're collaborating on, and because we have the same change graph, we can collaborate together even though we're maybe completely distinct teams. Interesting, right? If you think about companies nowadays, pretty hard to collaborate across different teams and in my entire organization. All right, cool. Collaboration with externals. If you ever thought about open source kind of contribution workflows, how could that look like if I apply that to an entire company? And one of the interesting things is that my bookkeeper could, in theory, just open a change request to my repository and say, hey, listen, I updated the books for December 2023. Here are the changes. I can see exactly what changed in those books. Whoever is responsible for finances, probably Janis at this point, or Max Musselmann, he can go through these changes and say, yeah, listen, the books seem all right for December. Let's merge it into our change graph. Boom. Interesting. External collaboration would be streamlined. Cool. The biggest point, though, is we have CI/CD in software engineering. If I know exactly what happened, I can react to that, whether I put people in review or whether I automate the heck out of it. Now, if I would have such a change graph for my entire company, how much more could I automate? Probably 10x, 20x, 100x more, right? And that gives me the confidence that if such a system would exist, if we can apply software engineering principles to an entire company, every company would want such a system. Why? I can suddenly automate 10, 20 times more than I could before. I get collaboration in my entire organization. Yeah? Okay, cool. But it's not possible today, right? Something like Git for companies doesn't exist. There are several reasons why it doesn't exist, but that's the technology. So we're going to bring traceability, interop, cross-organization collaboration with externals, and CI/CD to entire companies. We call it the Linux Change Control System. Now, what's new about the system? First, it works for everyone in your company. Doesn't matter if it's designers, data scientists, mechanical engineers, civil engineers, lawyers, accountants, translators. Doesn't matter. This system works for anyone in your company, which is in stark contrast to Git nowadays. Second, it is under the hood semantic version control for arbitrary files, which means you get your repository and you can drop any file you like in it. And for any file that you're dropping into it, you get version control. Why is this pretty amazing? Well, if I'm a designer, I can drop my sketch file into the repository and it just works. And same goes for the video cutters. They can drop their Final Cut tool in there, the accountants that drop their spreadsheet in there, and so on and so forth. So the entire system, because it operates on files, is backwards compatible with all the file-based software that we use today. All right, cool. Bringing me to the big point, cloud-based SaaS will die. If we look at tools like Notion, Deal, Rippling, Datev, HubSpot, Linear, Gmail, if I as a company want to automate the heck out of my company with CI/CD, I cannot really do that with cloud-based SaaS. Why not? They have no files. I cannot drop that into my repository. Bringing me to the reason that, well, all right, if we go 5 years from now, and I have the choice between a cloud-based SaaS, and I have the choice between a, let's say, file-based SaaS, which I can just drop a file into my repository, there is no reason for me as a company to choose the cloud-based SaaS where I don't have control over my data. So losing data ownership is a trade-off that Elix makes obsolete. Why? You get the benefits of a cloud-based SaaS, like collaboration, like automation, but to a much higher degree than any cloud-based proprietary solution could offer, with Elix for free. Yeah? On the flip side, cloud-based SaaS means you lose the data ownership, which has some severe side effects. You don't get change control benefits, like CI/CD, it's just gone. You don't get the interop, you don't get the collaboration between different tools. You get lock-in, no company wants lock-in, okay? Limited automation, whatever the cloud-based provider provides is what you need to live with. And integrations are always a hassle. 50% of the time, that's the joke, of any cloud-based SaaS is spent on building and selling integrations. And if you're out of luck, they don't have the integration you need, and then you have a problem. All right, so losing data ownership is the trade-off that Elix makes obsolete, and that's why cloud-based SaaS will die. All right, cool. Go to market. So we have this new technology. Yeah, we're bringing what we call change control to everyone in your company. Why? You can automate the heck out of your company if you have such a platform. How do we bring it to the market though? If you talk to data scientists today, designers, anyone who's not an engineer, what the heck is version control? What the heck is CI/CD? What is this? So, how do we bring this technology to the market, to the masses? We need to find something where people already use something like version control. And we need to find something where that group that uses version control cross-sells our technology to everyone else in the company. Now, what could that be? Globalization of software. If you look at globalization of software, it's a complex issue that involves a lot of different personas. Designers, translators, business development, they want to increase the conversions of whatever you do in your app, and last but not least, engineers. And if you look at engineers, this is a typical globalization pipeline for software, which already resembles what we as software engineers know as a Git kind of graph, yeah, change graph. Developers use Git already, that's good for us. They're usually the starting point for globalization of software, and they can cross-sell all the other people in my company. So the developers, if they like Elix or change control system, they will cross-sell it to the business development guys, to the translators and designers, and we don't have to do the explanation. We don't have to go to translators and convince them, listen, this is a great thing, because they won't understand it. But if I'm in the team, and my developer that I work with says, listen, just use this tool, it's the best thing ever, I'll do it. And that's exactly how we bring this technology to the market. Inlang is called, yeah, globalization for software. The kind of tool that we're building is called Inlang, first product that builds on Elix. And it's an ecosystem of apps and services that you can use to globalize your software. Now, the beauty of this is it's also unsolvable if you don't have a system like Elix. Why? Because it's a pretty complex process if you want to globalize your software, and you need this change graph, you need this automation, otherwise you won't be able to convince a lot of companies to globalize their software. You need high automation. All right, well, apps and services, we get interop with links. So all the apps and services that you find on inlang.com to globalize your software, they have interop between each other due to links, which makes this an even better go-to-market. What I said so far is we need to bring this technology to people that already know version control. We have it, developers. We need to bring it to a situation where you need to have licks. We have it. We have those change graph pipelines. We need to automate them, and you can do that with apps and services on inlang.com. All right, where are we today? New technology, go-to-market, globalization of software. Where are we today? We have an MVP of the globalization ecosystem for software. We have 6 or 7 apps, and I can happily report the developers love it. So one of the coolest quotes is from Nedim on Twitter. He looked at Inlang and he was like, looks like Inlang is going to kill all the translation services with CLI, IDE extension, web editor plugins, and CI/CD combo. Amazing! And we find that amazing as well. So developers love it. Cross-selling is working, right? I said for the go-to-market, we need to have something where whoever knows the technology cross-sells everyone else in the company. Well, developers do that. We know that because they write it. They're like, oh, I tried out this tool from the Inlang ecosystem and I sent the tool for translators to my translator and he started using it, or to my designer. Okay, cool. Multiple product-led growth distribution channels as well. So we have developers loving it, cross-selling is working, and every app and service we have in the Inlang ecosystem is its own distribution channel. So Sherlock, for example, which is a tool for developers, is placed on the Visual Studio Marketplace, discoverable by developers, and boom, they can just adopt it. We are becoming the de facto standard for a lot of front-end frameworks. So here, for example, someone from the Svelte community said, it's kind of the de facto standard already. So whoever you ask, they already refer to tools in the Inlang ecosystem. That's pretty nice. We're going to scale this out in the future to other frameworks, but the good news is we not only have one distribution channel, we have multiple, all product-led growth. We don't really do marketing. People just come to us and adopt the stuff. All right, that gives us the feeling, damn it, I think we're on a rocket ship and it's about to launch. What's an issue we have? Progress is limited by the headcount. We're doing a lot of things and we're really bogged down by building the backend. We're a small team of 8 people. Some people are missing here. Maybe 9 at the end of the week, we're going to see. But the progress is limited by the headcount. We do a lot of things for such a tiny team. But let's get to the future. What's up in the future, if my pointer would work? No? All right. All right, future. So we have a new technology. We have a way to bring it to the market. The go-to-market seems to work. What can we do in the future? Well, people will want to host their links repository somewhere, and we need it because all the people who are not software engineers, they don't have something like GitHub. So we need to have a links platform in the future where you can host your repositories. And not only are you going to host your repositories there, but if you remembered my statement about cloud-based SaaS will die, this will most likely also be a platform that successors of Notion, Deal, Rippling, and Co. will use to build their applications and services on top. Why? Because it's just much simpler. They can leverage CI/CD natively and knock out the apps that we see here on the screen. All right, so we're going to have a platform for this. And second, how do we push this platform forwards? Well, every company would go global if they could, right? The go-to-market was globalization of software. And we know from our users, they're always asking us for, I started using your software tools. Can you help me with my website, with my search engine optimization? And the answer is yes, we will. We're going to build the globalization platform with Inlang, which is built on links. So everything that you're about to see is possible because of links. And the stuff will look like this. We're going to start with software that's a go-to-market. We're going to expand, as I mentioned, search engine optimization, marketing, customer support, compliance, sales, accounting. Everyone who starts globalizing their software is asking us about all those things. So we have a very natural way of, you you need help dealing with customer support worldwide, we're going to build an app or service on that, and it will run on inlang.com. And the beauty is, because it's all built on lakes, you get interrupt between all the apps and services that you're using on inlang.com and external stuff. All right, search engine optimization, marketing, customer support, compliance, sales, accounting. We're going to help you with all of that. Now, if you remember, my initial statement was $1 trillion opportunity. Am I mental? I don't think so, because if you look at this is a multi-trillion-dollar ecosystem. If you can make globalization simple for companies, and that means we help you with your software, everything you do as a company, we help you suddenly put it on a global scale. And by doing that, we also push the Lix platform forward, which other people will use to knock out companies like Notion, Rippling, and Deal. Remember, there's no reason anymore in 5 to 10 years to choose something that is proprietary and cloud-based. Then we have $1 trillion ecosystem. If we look at accounting alone, okay? If we look at accounting alone, we know from our own experience that if you're a global company, you have entities around the world, and one of the biggest hassles is, how do you do bookkeeping? I have a system, I have an accounting system in the US for my US entity. I have an accounting system in Germany for my German entity. I have an accounting system in China, in the UK, in every goddamn country. I have a new accounting system. And in all of those countries, there's one big player most of the time. It's a multi-billion-dollar company always. Intuit in the US is, for example, worth $150 billion. They just do stuff in the US and UK. And what I'm saying here is, if I'm a global company, I want one accounting system. I don't want 60, I want one. So by us, eventually going into global accounting, providing the ecosystem for it, and people will be able to build thousands and thousands of services for it, that alone, just this one category, will be worth more than $1 trillion. Okay, now, that's it. Here's the golden nugget. That's the end of the presentation. Global accounting ecosystem will be worth more than $1 trillion. But here's one last thing, which we found quite amusing. If every company has a Lix repository, and that's what the entire company operates on, they have all the data in there, and all the apps can just open the data in that repository. One of the things we are able to do with the go-to-market, and a lot of companies that will build on Lix, you can turn sales upside down. Instead of writing a cold email, you can just make a cold change request. You can say, hey, listen, nice repository you have here. I think you would really benefit from our software. And instead of trying to explain what our software does, we just open a change request and say, listen, we just added our software to your repository. You can try it out in your environment. I don't have to sell you anything. You can just click, try it out in your environment. And if you'd like to change, ask with my bookkeeper, who can just open a pull request for my accounting update from January 2024. The person can decide to merge it or not. Really nice thing where I think, again, a lot of SaaS of the future will want that, will like that. All right, that's the end of the presentation. I hope you take out of it that we have a brand new technology. Yeah? Every company would want that. Every company wants to automate more, become more efficient. If I'm a data scientist, I also want something in version control. We're going to bring it to the masses. We're going to do it with the go-to-market of globalizing software. Why? Engineers already use a system like that. Engineers will cross-sell to everyone else in the company. And last but not least, holy shit, wait a second, what? What can we build here? We can build the globalization platform enabled by Lix. And this alone is a multi-trillion-dollar ecosystem, not including all the external parties that will use Lix to build whatever solution they have. So in summary, I think we find ourselves in a great situation where the impact could be profound. And that's the summary. That's it, 19 minutes. Okay, so the question is whether you took out, right? The goal of this presentation is that you get a feeling of, oh boy, I want to talk to these guys and have plenty of questions.